everybody, Dustin Dale's back here once again. I'm backstage, CenturyLink Center. Tonight, it's a one-of-a-kind show that you're only going to see once a year, maybe once in a lifetime. You're going to get Earth, Wind, and Fire and my guests tonight, the 2016 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, Chicago. I'm joined by two of them right now, Robert and Lee. Thank you guys very much for joining me.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, I said 2016 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What is that like, getting inducted this year?
It was very exciting. We were, I think, surprised once we were nominated. We expected not to be nominated, so when we were, I went, oh my God, this is going to happen this time. And it was, the whole process was a lot of fun.
Now, you said you expected not to get nominated. You guys were eligible since 1994. 22 years it took them to wake up and say, let's put Chicago in. 22 years, did that seem like it was ever going to happen?
No, and actually, after the first few years that we were eligible, I personally, I never even noticed year to year, who was inducted and what was going on. So we just continued to do what we do, which is tour the world and write songs and record them.
And there would be an upswell of indignation from radio
yes.
and TV.
Yes, grassroots indignation.
Exactly. and then we would, like Robert said, we'd go about our business. So when it finally happened, then the same people helped all the popular vote come through. We had over 37 million votes.
That's a lot of votes.
That was a lot of fun.
Now, you guys were also the first American rock band to chart 40 albums, or excuse me, the top 40 albums in 6 decades. Well, where does that stat even rank in your mind?
We just keep working.
Yeah, it's good to be working.
Yeah. That's all, I mean, seriously. I mean, still tonight, this is our last show of the year, so we're not going to work for 2.5 months. Mm-hmm. But what we do is play for people and record and write music. So.
Now, you've won a lot of awards in your time, Grammys, AMAs, the works. One thing I was kind of curious about, you guys also got a lot of keys to the cities around the country. Now, if I'm the band Chicago and I get keys to the city in Chicago, where do I use those keys? You go in to get some pizza?
Pizza and a $10 bill.
$10 bill. You're going to get yourself Wrigley Field tickets?
Wrigley Field tickets, you have to know somebody.
Oh, even the band Chicago can't get Wrigley Field tickets, huh?
Comiskey Park, too.
Oh, yeah, Comiskey Park.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's 2 baseball teams in Chicago. The White Sox, they won the World Series a few years ago, but the Cubs finally did it. You guys big baseball fans? You following the Cubs?
I'm actually a Dodger fan right now because we've lived in L.A. for so long. But when I was in Chicago, I was a Sox fan because my dad was born and raised, actually raised in south side of Chicago. So when he had a family and we lived on the north side, he would take us to games at Comiskey Park. So we were Sox fans.
What about you?
Well, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, so I was a Dodger fan my whole life. But once the Dodgers were eliminated, I've always liked the Cubbies, and I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Cubbies, and I was rooting for them all the way. And the way that they won it was in pure Cubs fashion. It was one of the best series I've ever seen, and the last game was one of the best games I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was great for baseball.
I don't think I've ever seen a Cubs Game 7 as good as that one was.
Exactly.
Were you guys at all in Chicago around that time frame? Maybe the week before?
We were touring. We were on touring.
Working.
I didn't know if you maybe stopped in.
There was no time to stop.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's no casual. I think I'll stop by when we're on tour.
Yeah. Now, you guys, obviously, you said you're on the road tour, and one crazy thing that I saw when I was doing some research on you guys, next year you hit 50 years on the road, and you've never missed a year. That's incredible.
Yeah, we pinch ourselves. It's amazing that we're into the 50th year, so it is amazing for us as well as you guys.
Well, as Lee said, what we do is we play music for people, and at some point in a musician's life, it dawns on you that the best way to enjoy music is live. Everybody places importance on records and streaming and videos maybe, but really the way to enjoy music is to be there when it's being played.
Now, aside from the show tonight, people can also check out a very big documentary you guys have been working on coming up. Tell me a little bit about that documentary.
It's called, what is it called again? Now More Than Ever, The History of Chicago. And it will be aired on CNN on January 1st, 2017.
Now, what could people expect in that documentary exactly?
Well, I think it's a lot of backstory that perhaps you don't know. I mean, we spent a lifetime kind of hiding behind the logo, and that's enabled us to enjoy our civilian life, if you will. But there are a lot of facts and a lot of things that have happened during our career that people may be curious about and didn't know. So I think you get to see a lot of that. But you do get a sense of the commitment that the band has always had to each other and to making music.
Now, on a show like tonight, people can expect with Chicago and Earth, Wind & Fire, you guys are co-headliners. That means you guys are rocking together. 21 musicians, is that right? All at the same time?
That's right, and we have our positions on stage, because if you go the wrong way, you run into somebody. There isn't room for mistakes.
When the curtain goes up, the two bands are on stage immediately.
Wow.
So the first 20 minutes of the show is Earth, Wind & Fire in Chicago performing songs from both catalogs. And then Earth, Wind & Fire plays, and then Chicago plays, and then there's a very rockin', crazy finale at the end.
Now, when did you guys say Earth, Wind & Fire, that's the band we just want to rock with? Did you guys just fit in with our group right away?
We have a manager whose idea it was a long time ago for the two bands to perform together. It was we have so much in common with Earth, Wind & Fire. Peter Chiavarelli is our manager, Chicago-based manager. It took him a couple of years to talk to other managers, booking agents, and probably most importantly the concert promoters to get them to understand what this could be. And finally, I think it was in 2004 was the first time that we did a tour, coast to coast tour, and it was an immediate sensation.
The promoters quickly realized that it was a good package.
So we've done it. This is the fourth year.
Fourth time.
Fourth
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Fourth tour.
This tour has been split up into like two separate legs.
Mm-hmm.
We did one late last year and then again this year.
Actually, we were on tour with Earth, Wind & Fire when we were inducted into the Hall of Fame. We booked a 2 days pause in the tour ahead of time, just in case. And indeed, we were inducted on a couple of days in April, I believe it was, during the first leg of what we're calling the Heart and Soul Tour 2.0 or 3.0. And actually, the last leg of this tour was our first sort of a foreign tour, if you will, except it was a coast-to-coast tour in Canada, a national tour of Canada, coast to coast. It's the first time the two bands was able to take the tour out of the States, and it was very successful.
Well, very cool. I know I can speak for the rest of Omaha. We're excited for tonight. It's going to be a great show. Hope to see you guys back here once again. Maybe 5.0 next year.
There you go. Right?
We love Omaha, and one way or the other, Chicago will definitely be passing through.
I like it. Robert and Lee.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me.
Thank you very much.
Have a great show tonight. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you check them out here tonight, and make sure you check out that documentary coming up just after the New Year, January 1st, right?
January 1st.
January 1st on CNN. Documentary you don't want to miss. It's Earth, Wind & Fire in Chicago at the CenturyLink Center. Take care, guys.